Now, if we compare designs of live mixer motherboards, this one to the past generation ones, we get much more subtle design, I would say. And I'm actually digging this gray color scheme going throughout. But today, as you can see, we're going to talk about ASRock Z890 live mixer. And this board actually kind of resembles to another from them, but I'll get more into benchmarks and details when we surpass everything of that, and then I'm gonna give you a full comparison and just an idea what they did here. Now, live mixer board is, well, quite nicely designed, first of all, and we have this cover for the I/O ports and for the passive heatsink on the VRMs, massive passive heatsink, I do have to admit. And then we have two heatsinks for 3 M.2 slots. So one is up on top, and we have one big cooling down 2 M.2 slots. One is opened, but basically the cool thing about these passive heatsinks is they're quite easy, detachable, removable, and you have that quick release with this lever here, and the same thing goes for placing the M.2 SSD. Now, this board is of course for the Intel Core Ultra processors, and we're gonna go and compare everything with the Intel Core Ultra 285K. So let's start with some details about the board, and then we're gonna go more into some other stuff. Some of the main features: a dual Thunderbolt 4 Type-C connection with 40 gigabit per second speeds. Then we have Ultra USB power, Lightning gaming ports for the USB, which we will get into details. These are basically allow you to connect mice and keyboard with lower jitter and latency, which is outstanding. Then we have 18 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 power phase, which is a V-Core with SPS design. And then we have one VCC GT phase and one VCC SA phase, 80 amperes SPS. So that should be really good. 23 USB ports. So this is insane, I do have to admit. Supports Intel Core Ultra processor Series 2. We have LGA 1851, Intel Z890 chipset. 4 DDR5 DIMMs, and we're going to go with Kingston Fury Renegade DDR5 2x16 and 8000 megahertz. Then we have expansion slots. Now we're talking about here, the first one is PCIe 5.0 x 16, and the last two are PCIe 4.0 x 16, which is definitely better than compared to some boards that I did a review on that didn't have 4.0 x 16. They went with 5.0 x 4 and 4.0 x 8 or something like that. I can't actually remember correctly. For the graphic outputs, we have one HDMI and two Thunderbolt 4 Type-C connections, storage, 4 SATA 3 ports, one Blazing M.2 which is PCIe Gen 5 x 4, two Hyper M.2 which are PCIe Gen 4 x 4, and one Hyper M.2 which is PCIe Gen 4 x 4 and SATA 3. For the USB ports, we have two Thunderbolt 4, as I mentioned a couple of times already, one USB 3.2 Generation 2 x 2 Type-C for the front, two USB 3.2 Generation 2 Type-A for the rear, 14 USB 3.2 Generation 1 10 rear and 4 front, and 4 USB 2.0 for the front. We have 7.1 channel HD audio Realtek ALC 1220 audio codec with Nahimic audio, Realtek 2.5G LAN, and 802.11b Wi-Fi 7 plus Bluetooth when we're talking about LAN. It has the standard form factor, so we're talking about ATX, and the cool thing, we have 20K black caps with 1000 microfarads capacitance. For the I/O overview, we have two antenna ports, we have BIOS flashback button, HDMI, then we have one USB 3.2 Generation 2 Type-A, Thunderbolt 4 Type-C, then again USB 3.2 Generation 2 Type-A, again Thunderbolt 4 Type-C, 2.5G LAN, two USB 3.2 Generation 1 Type-A, two USB 3.2 Generation 1 Type-A again, two USB 3.2 Generation 1 Type-A again, and they are colored differently because the Lightning gaming ones are for the mice and keyboard, and then we have the Ultra USB power, which delivers clean power to your audio-related USB devices. So these four USBs are dedicated specifically for your peripherals. You'll gain better performance with them because they have a specific connection towards the, let's say, lower, as they stated, lower latency, better, well, less noise when we're talking about the audio and stuff like that. Then we have four additional USB 3.2 Generation 1 Type-A and microphone in, line out, and SPDIF. So I do have to admit this board is really packed when we're talking about in general, let's say USB ports. But when you take a closer look, they have these 4 USB ports that are strictly dedicated, as I said, for the peripherals, and these are designed to give, let's say, a better performance for your peripherals. And if you compare to other ASRock boards, they don't have these. So Live Mixer board, specifically this one, actually has better performing USB ports in those terms, and that's outstanding. Now let's go through benchmarks, because you'll see why. So I did 64 Extreme Edition System Stability Test. CPU went up to 80 degrees, clock speed 5300 megahertz, and GPU 66. Okay, irrelevant. Cinebench R23. It started at 81, but most of the time it was at 80 degrees, eventually touching again 81, which is okay. 5300 megahertz route, whole 10 benchmarks, and 40,275. It starts there and it ends at 40,724. It reached quite nice scores, and eventually I would say an average of 40,450, just because of these 3 benchmarks going really high. Cinebench R23 multi-score, we got 40,095, and single thread score is 2331. Indigo benchmark bedroom 3.352 million samples per second, and supercar 8.586 million samples per second. Corona 10 we have 12.7 million rays per second, and Corona 1.3 finish it in 46 seconds. Now I'm giving you the numbers because you'll see later on what we have. CPU profile max threads 18,789, and then you can see in comparison to the Steel Legend, and now I'm giving you a hint what I was thinking about, is that it's really close neck to neck with the Z890 Steel Legend. 3D Mark Time Spy 22,000. Then we have Firestrike 40,822. Firestrike Extreme 26,881. Firestrike Ultra almost touching 14,000. And when you compare the 3D Mark score, when we're talking about Time Spy, Firestrike, Firestrike Extreme, and Ultra, it's really, really close. It actually beats Steel Legend board, and it goes neck to neck. Sometimes the Steel Legend has the advantage, but most of the time the Live Mixer has a slight advantage compared to the Steel Legend board. And this is great. And when we go with the Cinebench and Indigo benchmark, Corona 10 and Corona 1.3, Live Mixer and Steel Legend are really neck to neck. And what I notice is, even the specs on their website, without taking into consideration the USB ports, when we take everything else into consideration, and even just the design a bit, they are really, really similar. So let's continue. PC Mark 10, we have overall score with 9,714. Essentials 12,001. Then we go productivity 11,924. Digital content creation 17,609. As you can see, again, quite close. Geekbench 6 single thread score 3,229, and multi-thread score 20,617. AIDA 64 cache and memory benchmark, Kingston Fury Renegade 2x16 at 8,000 MHz, DDR5 of course, 115,750 megabytes per second, write speed 99,718 megabytes per second, and copy 102,991. Latency is, well, it's okay-ish, 86.7 nanoseconds. AIDA AES, and what we noticed from the Intel Core Ultra in general compared to the AMD Ryzen 7 9800 X3D, is that it's in this cryptography part is really a 100 megabytes behind. So we're having here 252, but it's again really close to the Steel Legend board. ASSD, checking it out, we had read speeds 5910 megabytes per second, write speeds 5844. Out of this benchmark, read speeds 6820 megabytes per second, and write speed 6485 megabytes per second. And then we go to Crystal. This benchmark finally 7052 megabytes per second, and write speed 6716. In general, what I noticed, the Z890 Live Mixer is really, really similar to the Z890 Steel Legend. It could be the same platform in general, because I'm not talking here about the Z890 or the chipset or anything in general. I'm talking here about the PCB, the board, the design, and everything all together. The only difference that I noticed compared to it could be that the Steel Legend and Live Mixer boards were just neck to neck in those performance stuff, because they have the same power design. They have the same possibility for the overclocking of the memories. Same M.2 SSDs, same PCI expansion slots. Everything is the same. What I noticed, the only difference is that Live Mixer board has these ultra USB power and Lightning Gaming USB ports here at the back, which are giving you better performance for your peripherals. In general, what I can say is I was satisfied with the Steel Legend board, and you saw it in a couple of builds already, the full white ones. And this board really goes into the same segment as the Steel Legend, only giving, let's say, you guys that prefer gaming and gaming peripherals, more advantage towards those parts. Less latency, better control, and similar stuff like that. I mean, this board is great. I think it's just a bit better than the Z890 Steel Legend. So when you think about it, if you're not into that gaming peripheral stuff that you need maximum out of each move or keystroke or whatever, you can go with Steel Legend, but also depending on the color scheme, right? Because after you are done with choosing the proper components for your performance build, then you go and check out the visual aspects. So if you're going into that segment as well. So all in all, what I can say is that this Live Mixer board really deserves a big thumbs up, specifically because it is kind of similar to the Steel Legend, as I can give you the comparison. And you saw in benchmarks, they're really neck to neck, constantly, well, not pushing each other because, well, they aren't competing against each other, but just some benchmarks, Steel Legend has advantages, then we have Live Mixer having advantages. And I think those are such small margins, such small differences in numbers, that I think they're completely the same. So yeah, nice board. Definitely a nice board. I'll put the link in the description, as well as the Intel Core Ultra 9285K. Guys, the links are in the description, and that'll be all for today. Thank you for watching. See you next time in another one. Bye bye.